Hey, we're back.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how are we doing? Apologies anyone who's with us for us being slightly late with a few technical issues. Guys, I can confirm I had notifications saying you're both live now.
Awesome.
So
I just looked on YouTube. We're good. We're good.
Yep,
we're good. How are we, guys? How are we?
Good. Happy to be here with you guys. I need the entertainment. I need the company. So let's do this.
Hey, we're here. That's what we're here for.
Listen, I'm sitting in my computer chair for the first time since April.
You look so good. You look crazy good, honestly. Oh, wow.
Look at you.
I know, right?
Nothing like having your throat cut.
I mean, that's metal.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Where's the fourth member of the crew? Or now she's a year older. She doesn't want to hang with us anymore, huh?
Well, no, she wasn't prepared. She was actually supposed to be away at a friend's house this weekend, so she didn't watch any of the movies. But then she came back early, so she is home. But
cool.
She has not watched any of them.
Fair. Okay, so this month we've got Alien Invasion movies.
Yes.
Some really good movies, actually. It's been a while since I've seen a few of these. But
we're so like on opposite spectrums when it comes to movies. Like you guys like the sci-fi, and I'm like, where's the slasher movies? You know what I mean? I was looking, Matt was like, how are you doing this? I said, it's painful, but at least it's good movies. You know, I was like, it's good movies. So
see, for me, the Alien Invasion stuff is more realistic than the slasher stuff because it can happen. Like we are in an infinite amount of solar systems. The universe is infinite, so there's got to be other life forms.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I don't believe that they look like what people depict them as.
I don't know. I think I like the sci-fi stuff, but I'm more about the blood and guts, to be honest. But I like it all. I have no real sort of one area that I migrate to.
We can see with your page. Your page is all over the place.
Right?
It's beautiful. Love it. I love it. There's everything for everybody, so it's good.
The Wishmaster movies. Oh my god, the Wishmaster movies. Anyway. And then I've just started the rewatching the write-ups for the Saw series. That timeline's going to give me an aneurysm. It's horrendous. It's so weird. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
I have a hard time getting past 5.
I'm up to 5. I've just done the first write-up. Write-up for 5. 5's not a good movie.
No, it's not. And I think that's the reason why I stopped, is because I did not enjoy that one at all.
Yeah. I've only ever seen them. We're already starting off on a tangent, but hey, it's what we do. I've only ever seen them once, and that was from a joy point of view, let alone anything else. But yeah, hard work. But there we go. It's all good. Okay, so this month's movies, we've got what a mix. Nothing really old anyway. I think The Faculty is the oldest movie. 98.
Which unfortunately is now becoming old.
Yeah, it's true. 98, I believe. Hey, have we got a guest?
No, just if you accept that screen, we're gonna be able to. I'm gonna play the trailer for you guys.
There we go. So what are we starting with? Signs. Okay, cool. Yeah,
you had Signs up.
Yep. First up, we've got Signs from 2002. Enjoy.
Make geometric shapes the size of a football field.
What kind of machine can bend a stalk of corn over without breaking it?
It can't be by hand. It's too perfect.
So the aliens can't read our minds?
Oh.
Some animals around the county have been acting funny. Some of them violent. It's almost like they act when they smell a predator around.
Amman, Nairobi, Bangalore, and Jerusalem as the
same shows on every station.
Every station?
It is the 18th reported crop site in that country in the last 72 hours.
I'm a little scared. All this stuff on TV. Joe Gills was in here talking about the end of the world.
They're staying in the shadows. It's called probing, to make sure things are all clear.
Clear for what?
For the rest of them.
There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water?
Ground forces are being assembled.
It's happening. Don't be afraid. It's like War of the Worlds. Believe it's going to pass. Don't be afraid. They're in the house. Here it comes. Don't be afraid.
They show you just enough. Just enough.
It's like how trailers used to be before they showed
Yeah.
you the whole movie.
Well, they only used to come out with like a teaser and a trailer.
Yeah.
Now
It's
movies
true.
come out with like 4 trailers, so of course.
Yep. They dropped a new one for Deadpool today. It's out next week.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy. Yeah.
They
Anyway.
they revealed X-23 as actually being part of the movie.
Yeah, they did indeed. I hadn't seen this Signs since probably release. Just hadn't. I don't know why. Just one of those movies that I'd seen once before and thought, yeah, it's okay. It's really good. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
This is about one of 5 DVDs as a teenager into my young adult, my first apartment that I had. So I used to fall asleep to this movie.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's obviously it's an M Night Shyamalan, so you get the whole. There's going to be a twist. There's going to be something. Probably him in his pomp, I guess you could argue. I mean, this film made a lot of money.
It was
Made
like
a lot of
3
money.
years after Sixth Sense, so he was still like in his king status with all these
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, he could still do no wrong at this point. Before Avatar and Way of the Water and whatever else came our way.
The Happening.
The Happening. Oh my days, yeah, I forgot about The Happening. But yeah, it's a really good movie. In my head, I thought, well, I know what it is. We all know the one scene. It's meh. It's okay. But no, really enjoyed it. Made for about $72 million and brought back $408 million. 408.2 officially, according to Cinema Mojo. Which in 2002 was a good chunk of change, to be fair. But like you say, I think at this time the man was printing money, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
essentially.
I would imagine this was also still when Mel Gibson was
Yeah.
popular. Joaquin Phoenix was coming off
Yeah.
of
Yes.
things like Gladiator. You had one of the Culkin siblings in there.
Yeah,
a young,
Warrior,
a young,
it is.
right, a young Abigail Breslin.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. I didn't check this. I mean, I probably should, but I can't remember if this is before or after Walk the Line. I think it's before. Because Walk the Line was when Phoenix sort of went global, didn't he? Really?
Yeah.
But
Walk the Line was 05.
there you go. Okay. So yeah, it's a great movie. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen it, as usual, we're going to spoil these movies up the wazoo. So you've been
Get
warned.
ready.
Yeah, get ready. Gibson plays a preacher who loses his faith after losing his wife, and is very disillusioned with life and family and so on. And as you saw then, crop circles begin to appear. He's got the 2 kids and Merrill, who is his younger brother, I believe, in the
Yep.
movie. I remember, so, yeah. Who is the Joaquin Phoenix character, a failed baseball player. And yeah, aliens come down and panic ensues. There's one particular scene I think we'll probably all agree is the best scene by far, and even to this day, I think it is Swing Hard, Rachel. But also, yeah, it's definitely the scariest scene. The only thing I find odd with the movie is they come down and they have an affliction to water. and the planet is how much water made up? But hey, it's a weird one. Rotten Tomatoes.
That's why they go in the fields, far away
Yes.
from the water.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson, Rachel. Mel Gibson, not Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks. Now that would be a movie I'd want to see.
Mel
Alien.
Brooks is Spaceballs.
Can we see aliens in tights, please? I really want to see aliens in tights now. I do apologise in advance if anyone can hear us. My dog is still awake and currently losing his mind. So if we get any roughs over the background, I do apologise. 75% on Rotten on those tomatoes that are rotten, those tomatoes. I thought it'd be higher than that. I genuinely did. I thought it'd be higher than that.
I'm not entirely sure the movie ages well with modern day technology, and I think that may be the reason is people watching it now are not going to give it as good of a review as we would have back in 2002.
Yeah, I also think you hit it now right on the head as well. At the time, he probably could have released someone painting walls, and it would have made money and been all hailed as the next, the next coming of cinema, which he kind of was for about 5 years.
I feel like it's the unrealistic aspect of the alien at the very end. Like he does such a good job with the alien, the reveals in the beginning of the film, like on the rooftop, walking across that road, even reaching its hand under the door to get its fingers chopped off. Like all of that was very suspenseful, and what's like in the movie theater made you jump just every time.
Yeah, sure. And it's a weird one, isn't it? Because he, if you look at his older work, I have nothing but love for Unbreakable. I think Unbreakable is a fantastic movie. They've all got a very slow, methodical pace almost. And Signs does also, but the tension, it's wrapped in tension, which, Sixth Sense was very similar. But you look at a lot of the other movies he's made, even up to now, and it's a little bit different. I saw one of his this week that I've never seen before. I picked it up on eBay for £1.50, $3 on Blu-ray. The Visit. You ever seen The Visit? Oh,
that's the one with the grandparents, right?
Yeah, it's a trip.
That one is messed up.
Yeah, that's a trip. Found footage. The two kids are amazing in it. And again, I just picked it up because it was cheap, and this is what I do. But yeah, back in 2002, as you say, you could do no wrong really. It was only once, like you said, The Happening, and then a few others that it kind of went off a little bit crazy. A very young, like you say, a very young Rory Culkin in it. I don't think I've seen anything else since. I don't know how many Culkins there are, which I'm not overly ashamed of, to be honest. Truth be told, but
I'm not sure. I know Kieran does a lot of stuff, but Rory and Kieran look very much alike.
Yeah, it's true. Gibson was in his pomp as well here still though, and he owns this movie. The scene where he goes to see M. Night, because M. Night is in it, isn't he, as a character?
Yeah, he plays the character that accidentally killed his wife because of drunk driving.
When he goes to see him, that scene is just like, bam, that hits you. That hits you in the chest. That scene, because of how he's been of late and how he conducts himself of late, you forget what the man was a grade A movie star at this point. Complete bona fide movie star. Interestingly, the Meryl character, so Joaquin Phoenix, was originally written to be in his 60s. And wasn't going to be his younger brother. And once it was changed, originally Mark Ruffalo was cast, and then he backed out because he didn't have the schedule to do it, and Phoenix was brought in.
Yeah,
he's in Daddy's Home too. I don't know if he's in Daddy's Home too.
No, Mel is though.
Is he? I don't know. I don't think I've seen Daddy's Home too.
Yeah, Mel Gibson and John Lithgow play the dads of Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg in those films.
I think the most recent thing I saw Mel Gibson in was the Santa Claus thing that he did.
Gotcha. Well, he's
John Wick in a Santa suit.
I gotta admit, though, Mel Gibson can do comedy very well.
Yeah, but he owns this movie. He's really good. He plays fragile and broken and tested so well in this movie. And like you say, the kids play their part, and
and you have to
Watching
pay
this
attention.
good.
Like it's one of those
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
it's one of those movies that you can't just like idly be watching with your phone in your hands. You've
No.
got to sit there and watch it because everything he does, every scene he creates in that movie ties back at the very end. Everything.
Well, just to put that into perspective, when I watch a movie, if I'm doing a movie for the show or for the page, I write with a notepad. So I watch a movie and I've got a notepad or the note up on my pen, on my phone or my iPad or whatever, and I constantly, there's a process to it. I had to watch this again because I have nothing written down. Like Science 2002. Oh, it's finished. I haven't written anything down. So I had to like go through it again and make
It
sure.
engages you.
Yeah, because I was drawn into it, and I mean that's not a bad thing, obviously, but
Thank you, Rachel.
yeah, it's a good movie. It's a little slow at times, but I think that's potentially meant to be that way. It's meant to have the methodical pace to it, but I really enjoyed
The
it.
story's important. It's not like,
Yeah, of course. No.
it's not like something that you kind of have, like you said, you have to pay attention to that one. That
Yeah,
one is like,
It's not
well
something
written.
you can have on in the background while you're doing your chores or anything like that. It's
Right.
It's something you have to do.
There's a lot of exposition. They really do a good job of developing the characters, and even though they don't dive too much into the backstory, you get a sense that you really know them by the time you're done watching.
Yeah.
Everything is just well executed, to the cinematography, to the edits for the scenes, the way they put everything together, the moments that you see the creatures up until the very end. We'll get to that in a moment.
Sure.
But everything absolutely makes sense, and there's some heart-wrenching moments in this too, like how the aliens ended up affecting the dogs.
Yeah.
That was
and
one
I'd forgotten about all of that side of it.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that entire sort of dynamic of the movie.
Right.
On rewatch.
Right, so that was heartbreaking. Funnily enough, the guy who plays Lionel Pritchard, which is the guy that they think is doing all of this, he's only in the movie for like 5 seconds, but that's Michael Showalter, and he is one of the main characters of Wet Hot American Summer, and actually helped write all of that.
Oh wow, okay.
So he has this brief moment in there, and this is right around the same time that movie was being made. So it was when he was becoming big, and then just a cameo role though, and I never noticed it until this watch through.
Okay. Yeah. It's a funny one. Like so, I recognize the guy, but I haven't seen any of the stuff you just mentioned. Then, to be fair, but you noticed that M. Night works with he's got a set amount of people around him that he works with. Certainly back then, he was working with continually. I think a lot of people were almost shocked that Bruce Willis didn't star in this.
Right.
Going forward, following
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's great, and then even the whole water element of it, which they explain why it is the way it is, but it's not just like gung ho. You don't look around and people are running around with super soakers or whatever the case may be. Like it's all done very, very seriously. Every element of it is done, with an element of realism, an element of seriousness. So it's not, oh, hang on a sec, they have an issue with water. Let's flood them out. It's different. It's done with a purpose. It's done to be taken seriously.
Yeah, they weren't even sure that it was water at that point in the film too. At the end, but it all came together. Like they towards the end of that film, they cut to this scene where they show Mel talking to his wife for the last time because she's pinned after the accident, and they know as soon as they move the car, she's going to die, which is why they called him down there in the first place. And heart-wrenching scene because she almost seems like she's incoherent when she's talking to him, and he's explaining all of this to his brother Merrill. And, he thought it was silly because she kept telling him, swing away, Merrill, swing away. She seemed to think that she was at one of your baseball games. Like that, that's what he told Merrill. But then she was predicting the future for her family. She was telling them how they survive this. Yeah. And that's the big whoa moment of the film. And I love that moment where that realization, when he's looking around the room and he sees all of those glasses of water because Bo keeps asking for water every 2 seconds. And he tells Merrill, swing away. And he starts doing and saving the family by killing that alien.
Yep, and I can openly admit, well, everything in that area, that entire element of the movie went completely over my head initially.
Yep,
It just did completely. No, didn't.
I did not get it until that happened. Then I had to think about it, and then I was like, "Holy crap!" Then after it came out on DVD, that's one of the reasons why I watched it so many times. Is because every time you watch back that movie, there's another element that you did not see previous times. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true. And like you say, the whole the scene with his wife, but those scenes in general are heart wrenching, and then the scenes, and obviously you've got the redemption arc of the movie as it goes through into its finale. But yeah, it's a really good movie, and like you say, it's back when he was very much in his pomp, where he could do nothing wrong.
Before all the drinking.
Yeah, before all the drinking. Fame does crazy things to people, I guess. I really enjoyed it. It was the one on the list that we were doing this month. I was like, yeah, I've seen it. It's okay. It's all right. But actually, I watched it twice this week.
Yeah, it's so good.
Just because one, as I say, I got caught up in it, and two, I needed to do some work. Otherwise, we've been sat twiddling our thumbs, going, "Yeah, it's good." That would have been it. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, it made a lot of money, and it's critically and it was critically well received. 4s and 5s across the board, 4 stars, 5 stars across the board. I gave it 4. I just think it's definitely worth your time if you've not seen it, and you like a bit of suspense in with your alien invasion.
Mm-hmm. It has that thriller aspect to it for sure.
Yeah, and if you look at the set pieces,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say that movie's always been like a 4 to 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah,
I've just always enjoyed it. I've rewatched that film so many times. Like I've seen it probably 200 times.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen it that many times. But it will become a more regular watch going forward now for sure.
Rachel's right. It brings genres together because it does. Yeah. It mixes that horror element with that drama and suspense thriller element.
Yeah, favorite scenes in the movie, guys?
I think I've already kind of said them, but
it has to be the reveal. Yeah, I mean,
now my favorite. I think my favorite scene has got to be the first time you see the alien. That's because she's asking for the water. He's tucking her in. He doesn't think anything of it, and she already told him there's a monster outside of his room, and he's telling her it's going to be okay. And then all of a sudden, boom! He looks up, and there it is, and it moves. And he's like, "Holy!" Yes.
The birthday party. Yeah, the birthday party is good. The birthday party is good.
But that's
that's
been my favorite for sure.
What about yourself, Mel?
Birthday party. I mean, I remember seeing it the first time, and that scene was like the scene that
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's got a couple of those iconic scenes that you can go back to, but yeah, it's way better than I remember it being, and it's been great to catch back up with it these last couple of weeks. Does that mean it's still around? I'm sure there is.
That one, the birthday really party. The birthday party is one of my favorites, but I don't know. There's something about that first reveal that always just got me. And I love that scene for another reason, because when they run around the house, he's telling them that they should curse and yell and all that stuff, right? They're running around the house, and he finally does curse, and then they meet up with each other. He's like, he's like, I cursed. And he's like, I heard.
I like it. Why you've got the two kids in the tinfoil hats, and they're mocking them, and then all of a sudden, Mel Gibson's character looks around, and the three of them are sat there in tinfoil hats. Yeah, you've been converted. No, it's decent. Yeah, Phoenix is really good in this movie. Really good. Yes, go check it out, people. If you've not, it's available depending on where you are in the world. I picked it up here on Amazon Prime. I'm sure you guys are able to get it, access it, and
it was on sale. It was on sale on Prime for Prime Days for like $6 or $7. It wasn't much.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Rewatch value alone. Yeah, completely worth it. Cool. Any final thoughts on Signs before we move on?
Nope.
No?
Great movie, and I'm glad they've never made a sequel to it because it's a perfect standalone film. I like the way that it ended. I like everything about it.
I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. He doesn't really do sequels, does he? And not really. I mean, with the exception of the trilogy. See,
yeah, I was gonna say, but there was more of that story to tell.
Yes,
yeah, there was.
Of course.
I mean, Split.
Yeah.
Split was amazing. I love Split.
Mm-hmm.
Like James McAvoy knew the crap out of that, and then bringing it all together. Bringing all the characters together was awesome.
And then there's the I mean, if it wasn't for that final scene in the diner, you'd be completely unaware that even watching it, like my other half was like, "What?" I was sat there when I went, and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "That." She's just okay, whatever. Yeah, doesn't care. Yeah. So we don't get standalone movies these days, do you? It's all universes and interconnecting this and franchise that. And there's nothing wrong with a standalone movie. So. Really good. Really good. Check it out, people. Check it out for sure. Moving on. Something a little bit more up to date, but equally as good. 2018's A Quiet Place. This movie.
Oh God. It opens right up with that.
Total devastation.
Who are we? If we can't protect them, we have to protect them.
Stay quiet.
So tense. So tense. Before we go any further, I have to openly admit that this house is very much addicted to The American Office and Jim Halpert in all forms. So if I say anything overly excited about John Krasinski, I do apologise. Also, I would leave my wife for Emily Blunt. She's aware, it's fine. So just just putting that out there before I go on to wax lyrical about this movie for 20 minutes, just because of my undying love for Emily Blunt.
See, that was one of the shocking things about this film, is that it was written and directed by John Krasinski, and he's usually a comedy guy.
Well, he's Jim Halpert.
Yeah, I know. He's that's what I'm saying, is that he's known for something so wildly different than what we get in this film, and it is brilliantly written on top of everything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's a summer blockbuster in every sense of the word. It came along and just blew everything out of the water. I mean,
I agree with that last statement that Rachel just made. I'm so mad they did not choose him.
Yeah, me too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fuming. Absolutely fuming. 2018. So it's already starting to clock up the years. I mean, we've had sequels and prequels out here. I'm guessing you guys have.
Is it out yet? Because
it's in the cinema here, in the theaters here. I don't know about it for yourselves. Just like Jordan Peele, it's true. Although Jordan Peele's not massively known over here for comedy. Truth be told, um, I'm aware of a lot of the Keenan and Peele stuff, but yeah, you don't get a lot of Keenan and Peele stuff over here. You don't get very many substitute teachers mispronouncing names on English TV, which is crazy because it's hilarious. Anyway, so yes, partly written by John Krasinski, who also directed, along with two other guys, Scott Beck and Brian Woods. Really small cast. There's only the four of them, really. If when you think about it, I know you get the odd cameo or the odd side supporting role come in forms of the older guy and the other child at the beginning, which is heart wrenching. That opening scene, you just sit there and you go, "Oh, okay."
See, I had never seen the trailer, and then I watched the movie like back in 2018. I was not expecting anything to happen to that child.
Always the best way.
Then all of a sudden, the stupid rocket ship goes off, and I knew what was about. I was like, he's not going to get there in time. Yeah. This is no, and I was like, just as a dad, I had to stop watching. I had to stop watching that movie for a good half an hour after that because I know what his character was going through. That not being able to protect his child, having to stay quiet and not be able to scream that anguish that I know he was feeling during that moment. Like, that is the worst feeling. It wasn't even my kid, and I had the feeling.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's up there with from me personally. Also, I don't have kids, so I don't have that attachment to it. But to me, it hit as hard as the first time you see Pet Sematary.
Yeah,
the original Pet Sematary, when you see the truck, it was that. It's when you sit there and you go, "Oh, okay, this is going to be a difficult watch." They're not pulling any punches, and that entire opening where it's all completely in silence, and you don't think for a second, giving the kid a little toy rocket's going to have the implication that it does, but at that point, you don't really know what you're getting yourselves into. And then from there, it's just, trauma. Yeah. Zelda to this day still terrifies me.
That scene in Dr. Sleep too gets me.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah. Yo. It's a great movie, and then you say, it's pretty much set in silence with the, for the most part, you get the odd bit here and there, but it's pretty much a silent movie. You've got the two parents trying to keep the family together following the tragedy. The older teenage daughter blames herself, feels their parents don't love her anymore. There's a lot going on.
Not to mention the mom's pregnant, and
yeah, exactly. Then there's that side of it. I've probably watched this as much as you've watched Signs. Like, we love this movie.
It's a great film.
It's a fantastic,
and it's another one that bridges the genres.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just it's got that horror element, but the suspense, thriller, and drama is all in there as well.
Yeah. Made for just shy of 17 million, so not cheap by any means for a first-time director. There was clearly faith though, because it brought back 341.
That's
good.
That's a lot.
It's no surprise we got a sequel and then the prequel, I guess. And I would imagine probably more to come.
Yeah, I actually do hope. I actually really liked the sequel with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, the man can do no wrong. You put Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy in the same movie, and it's Oppenheimer says it all, let alone anything else. So he may well be the finest. Great. Yeah, he may be the finest actor of a generation. And as I say, Emily Blunt's all right. She's okay. We kind of like her. Especially in Looper. Have you seen Looper? Oh, so good. Looper's amazing. So essentially it's another alien invasion movie, but this time it's all about sound. Previously it was all to do with the water. Pretty much this time. These guys, they're silent, aren't they? They can't see.
Technically, they can't swim either.
This is true. That's a very valid point.
So water does affect these ones.
Yeah, this is true. Not quite as much as the sound, I guess. obviously the premise is if you make a noise, then
You're
they're
done.
on you, and that's very much the case. And when they strike, wow, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It is as brutal.
That one little swipe that he did to John Krasinski's character there from the rooftop was devastating.
Yeah, it's brutal. It really is. So when it does go to that place, it doesn't hold any punches, and then on the flip side of that, you've got the tension, like you say, of the birth. The whole birth scene is just,
that was incredibly
it's
when she steps on the nail.
Yeah. And they set it up as well, and it's coming, and it still sucks. That's when you know it's a great movie, because you can see it coming, and it still blows you away.
I was worried it was going to happen to someone else too, because they just left it there.
I was afraid it was going to happen to one of the kids, and then she stepped on it, and I was like, ouch. Well, at least it's you, but ouch, Yeah, Rachel, that's my favorite scene. When they go to the waterfall and they're screaming. I mean, that's oddly enough, it's not a kill scene. It's not that's my favorite scene. It just shows that they at least have one place where, I'd just always be there. I'd just be under that waterfall.
Where they can be free, isn't it? They can be free there. They can be kids. They can be free. Yeah,
his
kids
were so scared. He needed to do something to take some of that fear away.
Yeah.
And it was a dad and son bonding moment too. Yeah, that was also really important.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
'Cause I'm sure he blamed himself too, because he was the one that had gotten sick and that made them.
He blames himself. Yeah, he blames himself for the whole thing. You can feel it through it runs through the entire movie.
He doesn't say it.
The man felt no.
It's all emotion.
Yeah. And every member of the cast is absolutely superb. The two kids are incredible. Like the two main kids.
I read that John actually made everybody learn sign language during
Correct.
the filming of this.
Yeah. And apparently during a test screening, Melissa Simmons, the teenage daughter, who is obviously hearing impaired in everyday life, apparently she brought the entire crew to tears just in a test screening. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah. This film is loved by everyone. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, that's you're talking 96%. Do you know what else holds 96% rating on that website? The Thing. That's the level we're talking about. That's where we are. Insane. Krasinski also had a third part in this movie. When they needed to do stop motion or capture motion, Krasinski played the creature as well in a suit.
Wow. What?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that until I started looking it up, obviously. But when there were scenes where capture motion was used and the suit was used, and he and a group of others, but predominantly he, because it was his baby, starred as the main monster, if you like, as well. So it's just a great film. There's no, it's a proper summer blockbuster. It made a fortune. It's got top drawer movie stars, and they're movie stars. That's the reality of the situation. They're all talented actors and so on, but wow.
I still can't believe it looked that good on such a low budget.
Yeah.
Because the monsters were really well done. I'm sure it's a combination of suit and CG, but whoever was doing that did it so that it felt and looked extremely real. Even the movement of the monster's eyes felt real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The movement of its head coming apart like it does. That all felt real, which was so weird because it was so unearthly to look at.
That's right. The editing, the whole process is top. I mean, they've squeezed every cent out of that 17 million. You say 17 million like it's nothing, but actually, when you look at what's on the screen, I mean, imagine if they had 17 million for April Fool's Day, Mel, you would have loved it.
Man, guys, do we have to bring that movie back every time? God, that was horrible. Oh man, that was like the worst one so far. The worst one.
It was the worst one so far.
Stranger Things did come first, Rachel.
Yeah, it did. It's not as good though. I don't think it. Well, personally, I don't think it's good. It's not got Emily Blunt in it for one. So that obviously helps. But, I mean, although season 3 had Robert Englund in, so this is true.
But I like the aliens. I like the creatures.
Yeah.
They were different. Yes, a little bit in the head, like Stranger Things.
They were like Demogorgons a little bit.
But still pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
And they ripped that old man in the woods like to pieces and like.
Yeah, as I say, when it goes, when we get the brutality side of it, it doesn't hold back. They're savage. They're savage animals when once they've got prey, they don't sort of there's no CGI sort of cutaways, or it's not tame in any way, and that applies to the sequel as well. Obviously, I've not seen the third one, so I can't comment, but I would imagine it's more of the same, to be honest, based on the trailers I've seen. So
it's day one, and it's got Joey Quinn from Stranger Things. He played Eddie in the last season of Stranger Things. Is going to be one of the main characters. So I'm actually excited for this because Joseph Quinn is in like everything now, and he's a great actor. Absolutely adore him. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to Gladiator 2, which has him playing the evil Roman there.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one until I've seen it. I'm not convinced. I don't see the point. I don't understand. Like, I'm sure it'll be very good. I love Ridley. I love Denzel, but
it's from a different period. So I think I think that'll be its saving grace. It's going to be a separate story, but in a different period. So I think
there's stuff. Yeah, I think you're right. And there's stuff coming out that I'll go and see. Opening weekend that I have minimal aspiration of or hope for. That's one of them. The Crow, obviously, being the other. And a few other things. There's a few other things as well. So anyway,
although I didn't think Bill Skarsgård could take on Pennywise, so I was wrong about that. So hopefully, I'm wrong about the Crow.
We shall see. I'm sure. Yeah, I think it's one of those that's destined to fail based on the fact that it is what it is. But we shall see. I gave Quiet Place 5 out of 5. Shockingly, what a surprise! And that was purely on entertainment. I promise.
I can agree. That's like 4.5 out of me. It's not my favorite, but definitely high up there.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for sure. Favorite scenes? Have we covered favorite scenes? We've covered a lot. We haven't. No, favorite scenes.
So mine is a very interesting one because it's really doesn't have to do about anything except for being human. And it's when he's sitting on top of the silo looking through his son's things, the one that died, and he starts burning them all and sets that fire. But then he starts looking up and there's one fire over there, one fire. He does that every night to see who's still alive.
Yeah. Are they alone?
Making it.
Yeah.
Are they alone now? He's doing that. And it's just this human moment where you can see him even show just this slight sign of relief that the human race is not up to them. So I just thought that was just a very human, it was completely unnecessary for the film, but I wouldn't have thought to write that in, but it was just one of those scenes that came at just the right moment in the film. Sure. So for me, I know it's a weird one, but that one was actually my favorite scene.
Okay.
For those reasons. Yeah,
that makes sense. Mine is similar in that I really like the scene where they finally realize that they can turn the tables on them. They've been trying for all this time. He's been working with the earpieces all this time. He's been, all his, and ultimately, obviously, it costs him his life eventually. But all his work wasn't in vain, wasn't for nothing. And then there's it's almost delight and relief that actually there is a way that we can fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's almost like that human will to survive. That's such a well done scene because it could have been such a cheesy cash in, and it's far from it. And I love the waterfall scene because just for that, for the same reasons we talked about earlier. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mel. I have one more that I'll say after Mel.
I mean, the waterfall scene was definitely one of my favorites. I like the silo scene when she's kind of drowning in the corn, and those kids are so resilient. They're so like the transformation from the beginning of the movie towards the end of the movie, the change, the especially in the little boy. I don't remember his name. It's just night and day, and of course when he screams so that the thing comes to him. I mean, that scream is one of the only sounds that we hear in the whole movie, and it just resonates like so much.
So mine is very close to that moment. So it's right before he screams, where he signs "I love you" to his daughter, and he says, "I have always loved you."
Yeah.
That breaks me. Like that's a dad.
Well, she's convinced that he hates her, isn't she? Yet right the way through, she thinks that he hasn't forgiven her.
He just didn't know how to talk to her. That was the issue.
Yeah. It's such a great movie. It really is. It's so good. Okay, moving on. And yet another movie that actually I genuinely adore this movie. Not for casting reasons in any way. I remember being completely blown away by Cloverfield when it came out, as everyone was, because there was no campaign or trailer or anything for it up until it came out. It just arrived.
My name is Robert Hawkins. Approximately 7 hours ago, something attacked the city. You found this. If you're watching this, then you know more about it than I do. Hello? Beth? Beth, where are you?
Okay, we cannot go into the middle of the city. We gotta get out of here.
There's nothing you can do for now.
Do you know what that thing is?
Whatever it is, it's winning. Do you have any idea what's out there?
I don't care what's out there. Listen to me. She's dying.
Turn that camera.
Robbie, hey, Robbie! Grab my sword. Robbie, it's a lot.
What was that?
Run! Still filming? Yeah. People are gonna want to know, how it all went down.
So I gotta know. Yeah, I gotta know right off the bat. You've probably got this written down. How much did it make, and how much did it cost?
Okay, it cost 25 million, which I think is actually I thought it'd be a lot less than that, but it cost 25 million. It made 173 with absolutely no advertising / press run. No, literally a Super Bowl ad, and it was here. That was it.
Yeah.
I think the Super Bowl ad wasn't even that entire trailer. It consisted of the Statue of Liberty's head hitting the road, and people going, "What the am I watching here?" It just came out of nowhere, and 172.4 million
Not
on
terrible.
a budget of 25. No, not terrible at all. 2008. So it's a few years old at this point. There's 2 sequels. One is extremely good. The other one's garbage.
Which one?
10 Cloverfield Lane's brilliant. It's a real character study in tension with John Goodman at his best. I'm not convinced the Cloverfield Paradox is even a Cloverfield movie, to be honest. I think it was just
It wasn't
together.
originally.
No, I didn't think it was.
It wasn't originally. It's kind of completely independent, but by what they ended up doing is by what they were doing up at that space station is what created the paradox to begin with.
Yeah.
Which, it was another JJ film that he was producing and stuff like that, and they didn't have a clear ending, and they thought, oh, well, this would be really cool to just tie into Cloverfield. And as a standalone sci-fi movie, I like it. I don't love it, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, I'll admit.
For what it is.
Maybe I just couldn't move past the fact that it's a quote-unquote Cloverfield movie, but yeah, not for me. Came, as I say, 2008, came from Drew Goddard, who gave us The Cabin in the Woods and Buffy. Famously, that was his claims to fame. Not bad company to be in by any means.
No.
And obviously directed by Matt Reeves, who made, I think, all the Planet of the Apes movies so far, and obviously the Batman. Excuse me. So, yeah, I think the most famous person in it is probably T.J. Miller, and he certainly wasn't at the time.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Lizzie Kaplan. Yeah, Lizzie Kaplan.
Well.
You could flip a coin, couldn't you? It's one of those.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right, Rachel. It's like Blair Witch, and that was my problem with it. It makes me like motion sick, basically, as I'm watching the movie. So it was a good movie, but at one point I was like, "Whoa, you're making me dizzy over here," you know?
Yeah, it's found footage. It's found footage.
Still good.
Yeah, it was high quality.
I don't have an issue with it.
It was high quality. It was a lot better than the Blair Witch as far as quality goes.
Well, yeah, I mean, 25
definitely.
300K. I think Blair Witch was made for like 300K.
Blair Witch was supposed to look like that, though. Blair Witch was really supposed to, be the lost tapes.
Yeah. And that Blair Witch was made for it was something stupid small. It was almost nothing.
Yeah. It's this. I mean, 25 million. I would imagine that 25 million probably came off the back of it. JJ was attached to it. I'd be surprised if it was.
I would say
much money
mostly went into the editing.
Yes,
the editing, the CG to depict all the creatures, the destruction of the Statue of Liberty, and all the special effects that went on in the city. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially for anyone who's not seen it.
I looked just out of curiosity. Blair Witch cost $60,000 US to make. Ended up making $248 million.
Yeah. And they wonder why the two directors haven't done anything since.
They don't need to.
They don't need to.
Because that was originally designed as an independent film, so those guys mostly got all of that money.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a found footage alien invasion movie. You've got a group of friends that are throwing a party for a friend who's taking a job in Japan. He's got an ex-girlfriend. They clearly still love each other, so there's that arc of it going on. And then all hell breaks loose. Is the easiest way I can put it. New York is under siege from a monster that you very, very, very rarely see. You don't see a huge amount, and that's part of the genius of it.
Yeah, you see the
leg. Yeah, a leg or the tail or the carnage, but
it's not until the very end the helicopter.
Yeah. And I mean, the scenes when you're when they're just being funneled into the bridge before the bridge goes, crazy. I love this movie. I loved it from minute one. I saw this in the theater, not really knowing what it was, other than it just looked cool, and it gets watched multiple times a year even now.
So my youngest walked in to the room I was watching that movie, and I just started it. He's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's a scary movie, buddy. I don't know if you're going to be able to handle this." He sat there and he watched the whole thing. He thought it was great. Yeah. It's
so well done. Every element of it is done. No.
He loved it.
It's too late, Rachel. It's done. It's in his brain there.
He tried to watch A Quiet Place with me, but for him it was a movie that didn't take off the way that Cloverfield does. So he he got bored of that one and said, I don't want to watch this one anymore.
Yeah, that takes a bit more sort of concentration and focus, doesn't it? Because Cloverfield is just manic.
He got through the first scene though.
Manic.
He got through the scene with the kid, and he was like, "That boy was like my age." He was like, "That's like it happened to me." That's what he said.
I'm now waiting eagerly to see what comes up next in the comments box.
Oh God, yeah, she's probably gonna kill me after this broadcast just because I let him. But it's
it's a really fun movie, really good movie, really really well done in the found footage genre, but higher end, like you say. I can't praise it enough. Is it,
Rachel? He's seen it.
Perfect? Far from it. I love it, but yeah.
Rachel, he's seen it, so he's already seen Georgie get it by Pennywise, and that didn't even freak him out, so he's fine.
Domestics, come on, guys.
He has. I showed him that scene because he wanted to watch the movie so bad. I thought it would scare him, and it didn't.
No. Kind of, yeah.
These kids are built different. They're built different, guys.
Yeah, it's true.
They are built different. He loves Pennywise.
It's true. They are built different. These kids think Krueger's hilarious.
Pennywise wouldn't be able to get him. He wouldn't be able to get him because Tristan's actually not afraid of him. He thinks he's cool. He wouldn't be afraid. He'd be elated. It's weird.
I watch horror movies and I'm like waiting for Monkey to fall asleep, right? Because I'm like, okay, he's 3. Like, do y'all have bad dreams? And he's like, I'm like, go to bed. And he's like, oh no, I watch a movie, a monster. And I'm like, all right, you're going to be afraid. No, he sleeps all night. No problem.
Hey, that's how I started.
Listen, we're a horror family for the most part. The only one that can't handle him is my oldest. Although he has been sitting through, he just sat through the latter half of Night of the Demons. After all the naked parts, he just watched that with me. That didn't faze him at all.
For the naked parts.
Well, the very beginning of that movie and like halfway through,
it's true.
There's some pretty. So
it's true. It's very true.
He caught the very end with all the blood and gore, and it didn't bother him for once. So
it's true. As we said, it's won 2 sequels. Again, 10 Cloverfield Lane came out of nowhere, pretty much. It's the same scenario. I don't have the figures to hand, admittedly, but a very different movie. Is it connected? Is it not? Is John Goodman saying
it's a sequel? It's a sequel, but not of the direct storyline. It's another part of the world.
Yeah.
But
ironically, the sequel that we never. Yeah,
John. Like I always see him as one of the Connors, or like the big lovable dad, right? So seeing him in a role like that, I was just like,
Dan Connor, is that right? Is it Dan?
Yeah, Dan
right?
Connor. Well, and then he was also in Coyote Ugly. He played the dad in that movie as well. So I'm used to seeing him in these lovable dad roles, or he can be kind of a jackass, but not an evil person, or pretty close to being evil.
His 3 greatest roles by far: Arachnophobia, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Lebowski, amazing, and King Ralph. The man was the king of England. I mean, come on, what a movie that is! King Ralph rules. If only we had him now. It's
crazy seeing him like that.
So good. Cloverfield is something that I think if you have issues with found footage, you might find it a struggle. Like you say, it can, the nausea and so on. If not, it's a fun time. It really is a fun time.
If you can't handle the footage of Cloverfield, still give 10 Cloverfield Lane a watch. That's on its own. It's still a great film.
Yeah. Completely. 100%. You don't need to have seen the other one.
I mean, I watched the whole thing anyways, you just kind of like look around a bit and try to but I mean, it was good. It was good for what it was for me anyways. I'm not a huge fan. Everybody knows by now I'm not a huge fan of these types of movie, but I like watching them because some of them are still good. That one, I mean, that scene when they think that they took down that beast, that whatever that thing is, and then they're like, oh yeah, you took it down, and it just writes that down. Y'all fucked.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love the entire subway scene.
Yeah.
The entire subway section. When the smaller ones that are just falling off of it, that entire scene is pure horror at its finest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That when I saw that in theaters, that was the only part of the movie that actually made me jump when I watched it in theaters.
That's my favorite.
I remember that specifically.
That's my favorite scene of the movie. That entire section, closely followed by Lily Caplin's character exploding, which I still to this day find relatively amusing. I don't know why. Marlena explodes behind the curtain. Poor TJ Miller, he never had a chance.
He made it farther than Marlena, though.
Yeah, it's true. The annoying thing for me is that the original sequel idea for this was to be set in the same style on the same night, but from the view of a bunch of Marines. That was the plan. They were planning 4 movies, I believe, and all 4 were going to be set all in the same night, all from different areas of the city and different ethnic groups and so on. And the next movie was going to be from the army's point of view. I don't know why it didn't happen. Obviously, it didn't happen, but that was the original
What bothered me in the movie is, don't they say, like, when everything happens, like, oh, it's an earthquake? And they're all like, well, let's go to the roof!
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't get earthquakes. I can't comment, but it didn't seem like a very smart idea, to be honest.
Well, that's the things I catch in movies, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Stupid.
Like,
I can almost guarantee you, if that was set in any other country, it probably wouldn't have ever happened.
Definitely not. No. And then you have to go back at the end and rewatch the final scene a few times because you can see it landing in the background. If you really sort of squint and struggle, you can see a dot coming down. Well, the last scene of the movie, spoilers obviously, is the Rob, and the girl's name eludes me, on the Ferris wheel. Do you know that the footage is between recording? Yeah. So the final scene is those 2 on the Ferris wheel, and in the background, if you really sort of squint and look, you can see a little dot falling to earth, and that's the creature. Yeah. It's, even once you know it's there, you're like, is it there? I'm like, can I really see it? But yeah, it's there. Ironically, none of the cast knew what they were signing on for. No one was given a script until they agreed to be in it. Captain thought she was in a rom-com. That's how secretive this was, and how much JJ kept things under wraps. It came out with no trailer, no publicity or anything, and the cast signed on purely on faith. They auditioned 2 auditions per character, and they didn't get an actual script until given the role, and they'd sign the non-disclosure, etc., etc. But yeah, apparently Captain thought she was signing up for a rom-com.
Fun cameo too is Theo Rossi during the party scene. He played Juice in Sons of Anarchy. He
did. Yeah,
a 2-line part in this movie.
Yeah, barely in it. Yeah. It's a great movie. If you found footage is quite diverse for many people, certainly in horror, because it can be done cheaply and very poorly a lot of the time. This is
still make money.
Yeah, make a fortune. This is neither of those things. It wasn't cheaply made. Yeah, it's a great film. And if you've enjoyed what we've talked about up to this point, Quiet Place and Signs, you're going to have a fun time with Cloverfield, no question. Yeah.
Cool.
I did my favourite scene. Did you go to yours? I actually did.
Ooh. That's a good question. I don't know if I have an actual favorite scene. I mean, the tunnel is probably the best sequence.
Yeah.
Of the film for sure. I also like the fact that there was one point where he drops the camera and he has to go back and get it to keep filming and documenting that. I thought that was hilarious. That was
keep saying the world's going to want to know. The world's going to want to know.
Yeah, I know, and I almost can guarantee that was TJ going off script, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
So
he's very good in this movie. He's
Yeah,
very
he's
good.
he's very good. He's not his normal crazy funny self in this. He's got a bit more of a serious tone, but he still slips in jokes.
Yeah, and he wasn't at war with Ryan Reynolds at this point, I guess, either. So that probably helps because they can't stand each other, as we know. Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a really good movie, and just from a curiosity point of view, because like I say, it just arrived. It came out and it was here, and then I wholeheartedly recommend the sequel. The third one, not so much, admittedly, but each to their, from each to their own. If you're curious, why not?
If anyone enjoys sci-fi, you'll enjoy the story for what it is from start until you realize that it's a prequel to Cloverfield.
It's cheap as well, isn't it? I think we can agree on that. It is in comparison to the other two movies. It's cheap. I don't know if it got a theatrical release there. Here it went straight to Netflix.
No, it was a Netflix movie, so it went straight to Netflix.
Yeah. It's not always the best of signs when that happens. Texas Chainsaw.
A lot of the Netflix stuff tends to be fairly good, actually.
Yeah, you tend to find. I know here again. I don't know what it's like so much there, but here, what you tend to find is stuff that goes to Netflix is stuff that was meant to go theatrically, but then just was really poorly received upon test viewings. So then Netflix scoop in and go, "We'll have it for a third of what you were hoping to make from it," and they then stick it onto Netflix. So it's fun. It's a great movie. It's unlike Quiet Place and Signs, where you have to sort of really sit and keep your eyes peeled. You can let Cloverfield wash over you a little bit because it's so manic that I think you can. There's so much going on. It's almost like a music video at times, and the speed of it, how hectic it is. But it's fun. It's fun. And then the sequel's the polar opposite. It's an actual movie. It's slow. It's methodical. It's psychological. It's it's a character piece in which John Goodman is ridiculously good. So you can watch the two, bookend the two, and you wouldn't think for a second it was the same universe,
right?
Until the point where it clearly is, without going any further. Anything else to say on Cloverfield, guys?
I don't. Mel, did you say your favorite scene?
Yeah, when they think they took it down and the thing just comes back up, and it's like, I'm gonna eat you. I mean, that was good. The ending, I mean,
technically only one person got away. That was in the in the film. That was it.
Yep. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Okay. Our final one, although we could have done loads of these, there's so many ones that I didn't think of until after that, that are alien invasion. We could do 10, 15, 20 really good movies. The Faculty, 1928.
This one is very nostalgic for me because this came out when I was in high school and went to go see it in theaters.
Wow. When was it? I was 20. I was just about to turn 20.
Yep.
Oh, I had
1998.
I had hair and I was beardless. So
I was like 16. I was like 16, just turning 16 when this came out.
Yeah, but it's 1998.
Got such a nostalgic thing for me because it's got so many of like my actors from my era.
And you know how you know it's a late 90s movie? Because when you start the trailer, it comes up with the Miramax logo looking like that. You can see on that screen, as you guys will see now. That's how you know it's a late 90s movie.
Unfortunately, that also means that it was a Weinstein production.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But
the movies are innocent.
No more books, no more teachers' dirty looks.
The students at Harrington High have always suspected their teachers were from another planet.
Is this gonna be on the test? This is the test.
This time, they're right. Now, these 6 students won't just question authority. They'll have to destroy it. Critics are calling it hip and scary. A thrilling ride from beginning to end. The Faculty.
Please report to the principal's office.
I miss those trailers. That voice,
It was a time before man. Those ones.
I do. It's
Um,
even the trailer is nostalgic, and this film just had so many people. It had Jordana
so
Brewster,
film,
Josh Hartnett,
yeah,
Clea Duvall, Salma Hayek, Famke Janssen, Christopher McDonald, Davey Newirth, Robert Patrick, Usher, Jon Stewart, Elijah Wood. Just so many different people that went
yeah.
on to do other things that are recognizable from so many other
The only name you missed off, I
franchises.
think, was Sean Hotsey, who was who plays Stan, the
Oh
jock.
yeah, he was in
Yeah,
Dexter. I forgot
but
about
apart from that, yeah, everyone. Jordana Brewster's debut, her acting debut, first thing she ever did.
Delilah.
Before she, yes, before joining the Fast and Furious series and
Franchise.
some
Yeah.
terrible Texas Chainsaw Massacre prequel. But anyway, 1998. You have to understand it for those anyone watching, listening. That this time in movies wasn't great for horror, wasn't great for sci-fi to a degree. The late 90s, we were coming off the back end of the bottom. She fell out of horror, like it almost didn't exist. I think that people often think that that's an over exaggeration, but it isn't. We went through a real plummet of garbage where they made not everything. We've looked at some of these movies that came out over that period, and they're unsung gems. Valentine, we talked about
Not
Valentine's
as
Morgan.
many.
No,
Yeah, it's not
but
as many.
unfortunately not. It was the Dawson Creek horror genre where you could be in a horror movie, but one, it had to be relatively tame, and two, you had to be drop dead gorgeous. That was it. If you grew up in that time period, you assume that that's what people look like because that was what you were forced. That was what was forced down your eyeballs constantly. Um, Ironically, so it was written by David Wetcher and a guy called Bruce Kimmel, but when it came to actually bringing it to the big screen, they employed a certain Kevin Williamson. Why am I not surprised? Mr. Dawson's Creek himself, Mr. Scream, Mr. I Know What You Did Last Summer. He was brought on to tidy up the script and the screenplay. Do you know what makes this different and what makes I generally believe makes it better than those? Directed by Robert Rodriguez. And I think that's the key to this movie. I honestly do. If they would have put any, whoever in front of it, it was just going to turn out another Pretty People movie, I think it would have been very different. But this film has an edge to it and a joy to it almost that you get from a Rodriguez movie.
You kind of get a T1000 from Robert.
Yeah,
Patrick
it's true.
there.
I mean,
Very
essentially,
close.
it's 100%. I mean, it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, isn't it? That's it is what it is. It's Invasion
It
of the
is. It's
Body
fun.
Snatchers.
It's campy. It
but
has
it's probably
campy moments and it's fun.
yeah, it's probably the second best version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Though, realistically, it could well be.
I mean,
It's not as good as the
it
'78
could.
version, but
It could.
it's pretty close.
All you got to do is jam some crushed caffeine pills to kill
Yes,
the
it's true.
alien. So it's great.
But yeah, I mean, you look at the 90s for screen. You look at the cast, as you said. Looking at the budgetary figures, this will give you an idea of where horror was at this time, and where these movies generally were, and where it was as a genre. Made for 15 million, which, yeah, a lot of them were still very young. I can't imagine they commanded huge salaries. The teachers were probably more A level stars at that point than your Hartnetts and so on of the world. It brought back 63 million. It's a flop. It's a when you factor in the publicity and the advertising and everything else, it flopped. And that sounds crazy because it made 3 times its budget, but 3 times its budget then is a flop. It was a flop because out of that 15 million, as I say, that wouldn't have included the global touring and trailers and press conferences and whatever else. That all would have come out of that bottom line. So it flopped at the time, which is astounding when you think about it. I just assumed it made a fortune because everyone I know loves this movie. Anyone who's seen this movie loves it.
It became a cult classic after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it went down. Because again, it's campy. It's got some almost comedic vibes to it in some places. Because
Yeah,
of the
for
sheer
sure.
silliness of it.
What I'd be
It definitely-
curious to see, though, when we see those numbers, is to see what else came out at the same time that maybe fluctuated those numbers. You know what I mean? Because another movie came out probably same time as this one, and that one got the traction.
Yeah, for sure. Like as I say, if you're looking at that time frame in movie making, horror was a dirty word. Horror in the 90s, sorry, is where directors started because they couldn't go anywhere else. Prior to that, in the 70s, 80s, and then thankfully where we are today, people make horror because they love horror. There was a time frame where people made horror movies because that was their way in. That it wasn't that they loved the genre, but it was like, make this, and if it works, we'll give you something else. And that's where we were. I forgot Usher was in this movie. I'll be completely honest until I watched it. He looks like he's about 12.
I forgot all about Jon Stewart too.
I remember Jon Stewart being in it, admittedly.
I had completely forgotten that. So when he popped in, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, the reveal's pretty fun. By today's standards, you can maybe see it coming, but at the time I didn't have a clue. I'll openly admit, originally, like who is the queen.
Yeah.
So
no, I didn't see. I really didn't see that coming.
No,
I didn't see that coming because she was with them the entire time,
and
they didn't show anything weird about when she took the whatever that stuff was. They didn't really show.
We just need to backtrack slightly. Jon Stewart was in Men in Tights. Was he?
When?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Carrie
Elwes was Men in Tights, yeah. So Mel Brooks makes sense now. Rachel, next show, can you just join us? It'd be so much easier. You won't get arthritis then either. I'm typing. Just come on screen.
She doesn't like to be on camera. She likes to be behind the camera.
So essentially, you've got a rag. No, I didn't think it was Jon Stewart.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to look it up now.
Okay. So you've got a ragtag group of students in a high school. You've got the geek, the jock, the prom queen, the emo or metal chick. They're every sort of standard you can think of, or every type of kid there. And essentially they have to sort of band together regardless of their backgrounds to fight off an alien invasion of body snatchers who also are here for our water in this movie.
Water seems to be a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good. It's really fun. It's campy. It's not overly gruesome, far from it in terms at all, but it's really good. Well directed, like I say, Rodriguez does a fantastic job. The cast is the key as well. You look at the cast there and where they've gone on to see. Slither's amazing. Shout out to Slither. Slither is amazing. We should have done Slither. Yes. So
there's many more months to come where you guys can pick another one to have sci-fi.
We can do another one.
Body snatcher, alien movies.
Slither, yes. Slither throwing me off my train of thought. A young Elijah Wood, very young Elijah Wood, pre-Hobbit.
Not that far though. They started filming the following year.
The only reason he became a Hobbit is because of the faculty. He wasn't going to audition, and they sort of pushed him in because Peter Jackson apparently famously said he was only looking to cast British actors.
Right.
But Elijah Wood took enough sort of encouragement from the set, and the rest is history. He made 3 movies about walking. Hey.
Mordor.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Hartnett was a big deal at one point, huge deal at one point. H2O wasn't. I can't remember if H2O was before this or after it. It was very close. and H2O did pretty well as well. And that's very much like the Halloween Scream movie. H2O.
That
It'd be
H2O was after.
it'd be 20 years, wouldn't it? So 98, 78. So it's the same year.
Same year. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be same year.
The question is which one did he film first?
Well, that's a good question. As I say, Jordana Brewster making her debut as an actress. A very young Famke Janssen. The T-1000. Piper Laurie, who was an established name way back then. Like, it's a huge cast of very credible actors at the time. It's a shame it only made the money it did, but it's very nostalgic. I'd watch it. I recommend watch it and then watch the 78 Invasion of the Body Snatchers with the late Donald Sutherland and go, yeah, they're both pretty cool.
They're similar. The idea was definitely ripped off from.
Oh, it's 100% a rip off of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, no question.
What I did. This is the weirdest thing to find interesting, but when I rewatched, I completely forgot that there was a nude scene at the end of the movie. Completely forgot. Mm-hmm. The American streaming version, though, has her completely blurred out.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't understand how.
I had kids nearby. I was watching it because I thought it was safe, and I completely forgotten about that. And then when I saw it, she was completely blurred out, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, so it's not really that bad. It's like made for TV version." Okay,
makes sense, I guess. Yeah, it's there. It's not blurred out here. For sure.
I didn't think it would be. You're in
no, it's a bit different over here, as we know. It's not on Disney Plus though, so there is that.
It is rated R. It is rated R.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So,
yeah, it is, and it even says in the disclaimer that there's nudity. But then, like I said, when I watched it, there wasn't any.
yeah.
And then it was there.
Yeah. At least it's not like the My Bloody Valentine remake, Keith, where it's there for like half an hour.
True. Yeah, that was the longest scene ever. Dear Lord.
It's like it's literally 30 minutes.
It's like 20. I was gonna say it's at least 20 minutes of her running around naked.
Yeah.
And it's true. Beastmaster was rated PG in the 80s, and there was quite a bit of nudity in that film.
Texas Chainsaw was originally a PG.
Wow.
Texas Chainsaw was originally a PG movie. 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes.
I can understand it. It's not.
I'll be honest. I'm amazed it's that high.
Yeah.
And that's not because it's a bad movie, but it's it's a sign to a time where not great movies were made, unfortunately. So I'm not massively surprised.
There's also a lot of like little jokes and language in there that you wouldn't really be able to get away with saying in modern film and TV.
No, definitely not. Favorite scenes?
The scene where they shoot up the Sudafed, the crushed Sudafed, and Elijah Wood just starts laughing.
Yeah, that's a good one. They just start cracking up.
That head case, when they're in the car, and then that's just the teacher's head, or I don't remember yet.
Just goes past. Yeah, that's on my. I've got that written down as well. No, I've written that one down. They look out the car window and Famke Janssen's head just sort of plods along on tendrils. Yeah, tendrils. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's funny. But I also love, purely from the cinematic way it's filmed, the scene where the entire football team are just out in the rain. And you've got the coach and the entire team, and it's raining, and their faces are completely ripped, where they just can't take the water. They've taken on so much water that they can't even hold their form together anymore. That's so well shot, so well done. So I love that scene.
Another scene that they did a really good job with the effects was when the creatures were getting into Elijah Wood's face.
Mm-hmm.
That was really well done. Like, it looked very realistic.
Yeah, it's well done. To say that 50 million is no small amount of money, but even back then, for something to be produced to the level it was, it just deserved to do more. It deserved to make more. It's one of those you think, we probably could have had a sequel of that. We probably could have seen another one, maybe even 3.
I mean, I can see that, but I also see why we didn't.
I'm kind of glad we didn't. Is the reality, because it could go one of two ways. And again, you can't really say, well, it needs a remake, because essentially it is a remake, and we get an Invasion of the Body Snatchers movie every
to a point
5 to 10 years or whatever it is.
Slither kind of is.
But yeah, Slither is just a more gross version of it.
Yeah, it's really good though. I love it.
It's a great movie. James Gunn at his best. Any final thoughts on The Faculty? Go and see it, people. If you've not seen it, or you don't know what it is, or you weren't here in 1988 because you're young, go and dig it out and find it. It's great.
Best use of probably my favorite Offspring song ever as the opening track. The Kids Aren't All Right. I mean, I had completely forgotten that was the opening track that they used to the film, and then when
the entire soundtrack is just 90s nostalgia metal.
Yeah.
You kind of can't get wrong.
Loved it, and I was just like,
can't get wrong with it.
It made me go re-listen to the entire album, if I'm being honest, after watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
I had to. I haven't listened to Americana in forever, so.
You know what? One of the things I find really, really good, really interesting about the movie is and you expect it because we're talking about top level actors here, but you look at sort of Salma Hayek's character, for example. She's constantly got a cold or a fever. She's sneezing and she can be pushed around and then flips, and she doesn't take any nonsense. She's not ill anymore. She's just completely stone faced. The same with the Famke Janssen character. She's a bit of a meek and mild pushover. Like, no one realistically believes that because it's Famke Janssen, obviously. And
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick's amazing.
He was such a dick and like so overpowering, and then when he becomes snatched, he's like,
he's so good.
Very pretty today.
Yeah, it's unnerving.
It is
unnerving. Yeah, it is unnerving. He's so good. He's just so good generally.
He really is a character actor. Like if you take a look at his career and look at all the various different roles that he's played, from Dad and Peacemaker to the old, lone wolf and True Blood, to what he does in T-1000, to even his voiceover work for Lucasfilm's The Dig. He played the main character in that computer. He's a very versatile person when it comes to characters.
Yeah, he's superb. He is superb, and you very rarely find anything that he's done that you can say is out and out poor.
Crap.
There might be the odd misstep, but that applies to everyone. But he's great, and he's great in this movie. He really is. And then, as I say, Piper Laurie's in it, who at the time was a huge star because she was not only an established movie star, but she was riding off the tails of Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
which was only 2 years before, maybe 3 years before. Twin Peaks was global, wasn't it? Let's be fair. It was everywhere and anywhere and all in between. So she was a big deal at that time.
Well, that makes sense.
That's probably where a lot of the 15 million went, is a reality, on the more established actors who were in their prime.
I can see that. I can see that actually.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's how it is. That's how it works.
And I feel like there's a couple of other characters that were just in it briefly that went on to do bigger things as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there isn't anyone in this movie you go, I never saw him again. Anything else? They've all had careers, and I don't know what happened to Josh Hartnett. He just disappeared, didn't he? He's not been seen.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah, he's got something out, isn't he, this year?
I think he's got a new horror movie. Rachel was just saying that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got something out this year. But he's been gone for a while, a good while. In fact, it's been a minute since he's been in anything.
What was the last thing he was in?
The last thing I remember in is 30 Days a Night. I'll be honest. I mean, there probably is stuff after that, but that's what sticks in my head in terms of the last thing I saw him in.
I mean, he definitely hasn't been in. Well, he was in the what was it? He was in the TV show there. Give me a minute. I know. I'm gonna get it. Penny Dreadful. He was in that TV show.
Okay. Yeah, he was everywhere at one point, wasn't he? He was doing rom-coms and
he was in
horror and all sorts at one point.
another reason why I need to watch Oppenheimer. He was in Oppenheimer.
He was in Oppenheimer, yes. He was. Have you not seen Oppenheimer yet?
Nope, I haven't. It's on my list.
Dude, yeah, you need to see it. It's really good. It's crazy good, in fact. I mean, it cannot be, can it? It's got Emily Blunt in it. You know. Forget that Nolan made it. Blunt's in it.
Yeah, Blunt's in it, and I know that Cillian Murphy's in it as well. So I mean, I know
yes, he is,
Robert Downey Jr. is in it, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Mm-hmm. And Matt Damon. Matt Damon's good in it as well. It's really good. It's it's one of those. It's
one of those ones that I know that I'm gonna need complete quiet. So I'm waiting for a moment where my kids are not gonna be interrupting me.
Yep. Turn the soundbar up or the speakers up. Draw the curtains and or blinds or whatever it is, and you need to just subdue yourself in it. You really do. But it's very, very good. Yeah, that's it. That's our 4 movies. We kind of rattled through these this week, huh? But they're all really good as well. It makes it easier to sort of, you tend to find you talk longer about the ones that aren't so great because the poor stuff sticks out.
I mean, it's good movies. I don't have too much to complain about. Like I said, it's not my favorite side of the horror movies, but they were good movies. Nothing like April's Fool's Day.
Never gonna hear the end of that.
No, I don't think nothing is gonna ever beat that. I mean, if there is a movie that could beat that, like.
Oh, well, don't worry. Stay tuned for my Wishmaster series reviews. At least 2 of these are much worse.
I can choose some movies that will be worse than that. I promise.
No, don't do that.
I don't want to rewatch them either.
Mono's Hands of Fate.
No, oh my god. What's the one with Sean Connery in? It's a Roger Corman movie from back in the day. Zargon.
Oh god.
You seen Zargon?
Terrible.
It's horrific. It's Sean Connery running around in like thigh-high leather boots in a sci-fi epic. It's horrendous. Believe me, I'm not saying you should. Don't go anywhere near it. It's awful.
There's another Alien movie that has some similarities to Cloverfield that I thought was going to be good when I went to go see it in theaters, called Skyline.
It's terrible.
Skyline is arguably the worst science fiction film I have ever seen in my entire life.
I don't doubt that. It's horrific.
So what are we thinking next month?
Don't know. What should we do next month?
What should we do? We're going into August. What should we do?
I don't know. Some psychological or some slashers.
Yeah.
We haven't done slashers.
We haven't done slashers. You're right. No, we haven't had a slasher month. Okay, so a slasher month. Easy peasy.
It's not going to be that easy to decide on just 4 movies, though.
No, we might have to work on that off camera, but slashers works. I think that maybe as well.
Or we can always keep slashers for Halloween. Because
I was just about to say that. I was like, those are like the Halloween classics.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep that for Halloween.
Okay.
We can do vampire or werewolf as a theme.
We could do that.
We could do. I also enjoy foreign horror films as well. So, like Brotherhood of the Wolf, Le Pacte de Loup, or Dot Record, the original. There's those kinds of films as well. So there's a few ideas that we can go through.
Okay. Let's review Twilight. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Oh no, it's Glitter and Spice World, and maybe one day
27 Dresses.
Listen, my daughter made me watch that with her not too long ago.
Let's watch everything that's ever been made starring Katherine Heigl.
Oh my god.
And then blow our brains out.
I don't even want to do that, guys. But we could do like vampires or
for sure.
If we're doing vampires for sure, we gotta go for Queen of the Damned and stuff, and
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, a good one.
Near Dark. Inner Dark, State.
So we're gonna have to talk off camera and decide on
we'll
4
sort
movies.
that out. Yeah, for sure. Where would you rank this month's movies, first to last? How would you rank this? Favorite to least favorite?
For me,
Difficult, they're all good, right?
Honestly, for me, it would almost be the exact order that we talked about them.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
because Signs is definitely my favorite out of the bunch. Quiet Place would be second, and I know Rachel's going to probably be flip-flop of me. She's going to be A Quiet Place, and then Signs second. But then Cloverfield, and then The Faculty would... I mean, it's nostalgic, but I enjoy Cloverfield. I've rewatched Cloverfield way more times than I've ever seen The Faculty.
Okay.
Pretty much the order that we did them in is my order.
Why? Okay.
My favorite was A Quiet Place, then Signs, then Cloverfield, then Faculty. Even though Cloverfield make me kind of dizzy, I still preferred it over The Faculty.
It's still a better film.
Yeah.
Quiet Place, Cloverfield, Signs, and The Faculty, I think. But I could literally swap the bottom two around depending on how I feel each day.
Rachel, what are yours? Since you're saying stuff in the chat.
We've got Quiet
Place first.
I knew that would be the case, but what's her second, third, and fourth, though? Because I know she's seen all of them. We'll give that a minute.
But yeah, we're gonna let you guys know. Quiet Place, Signs.
What's after that? Cloverfield or Faculty?
I
knew it.
You said it, yeah.
Me and Rachel agree on that one. Yes, we agree on this month. We're not sure when the next episode's going to be, guys. Just stay tuned on any of our pages, and you'll be able to get, or the F.E.A.R podcast page, because it does have its own page. We can't go live on it yet because we need more followers. So if you guys could go hit that follow, it would be appreciated.
We need to do some more work on the page as well, just to get it out there.
Absolutely, and there's gonna be some more promo this month. We're gonna make sure to promo early so you guys know when. Yeah.
But there's all sorts going on, guys. If you want to see amazing interviews of local and up and coming musicians, then Mel's got them for you most weeks. Sometimes 2 a week, Mel, isn't it? Fridays and Saturdays.
Sometimes. Like next week, there's none because I'm getting ready to do media for Brewstock Festival on Saturday.
Okay,
so I need to have a day to mentally prepare for the next day because I'll be behind the camera all day long in the heat. Yeah. So it's going to be really, it's awesome. I love it. Other than that, I mean, I am bringing the podcast to TikTok. I started working on TikTok more. I joined an agency. So we're going to start trying to bring the podcast. And I might even bring the F.E.A.R podcast to TikTok. Okay. I might ask you guys to do little specials once in a while. We're going to try. We're going to see what happens.
Hey, I need to build my TikTok too, so.
There you go.
No, I don't use it all over it, man. I have an account, but I don't really use it. So
in today's society, TikTok is just one of the best ways to get discovered at this point. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better at it too because it's definitely not the one that I grew up with. So take some.
You're getting better. You're getting better generally, right? You're looking healthy, dude.
Me, yeah. No, I'm. Neck is doing well. The only issue that I still have, which I'm waiting for my doctor's office to get off their butt and figure this out, but they're supposed to give me an MRI on this shoulder because I can't activate the shoulder all the way. I can get to about here, and I can't move it without assistance. And when I'm doing my physical therapy, some of the maneuvers they have me do, I can't even do it with 5 pounds. So there's something wrong with my rotator cuff, and they're going to be checking into that to see what's going on. I may have to have a second surgery if it's torn. So,
but that would be minor surgery compared to what you just went through.
Yeah. And what I'm hoping is that they'll be able to fix that. Then I'll be able to extend instead of having to wait 3 months, get the surgery, and then go back out on disability. That's what I'm hoping. But we'll see. I'm just waiting for them. I called them today, and they still hadn't sent it in. So I'm like, come on, guys. and it was 2 weeks ago that I saw them. So it's like, come on, people.
Do better, guys, especially when it comes to people's health. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's right.
don't let stuff slide, or you're going to be in my predicament.
It's true.
So, I mean, I could have probably done something about this neck 15 years ago, but I never wanted to go see a doctor. I never really thought that I should have it checked out.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my fault. That was my fault. You know, so as far as my stuff with Nightfall, we just launched a new single yesterday. So Remember My Name is out. This one features Jessica Mercy and Adrian Jouadou on vocals. And it's much different than the other songs because it incorporates musical theater into the symphonic metal. And it's a really cool blend, and you don't think it's going to work, but it actually works really, really well. Adrian's operatic bass style voice and Jessica's, higher soprano complements each other very, very, very well. We also launched a special sing-through music video. So I got George, who does the guitars, George Acker, and Jessica and Adrian all to shoot videos of themselves doing a playthrough and sing-through of the song. And then my wonderful, beautiful wife, Rachel, took all of those things, put them together in a awesomely edited video, I might say. I'm very proud of the work she did on that video, actually.
She did amazing on that video. Well, if you guys don't mind, we can always...
Let's do it.
We can always...
Let's do a premiere.
Why not, huh?
Let's premiere it.
I mean, no better place.
Exactly.
Fun facts, the whispering and the speaking is me.
Awesome.
Once upon a time, it's a story known to all. The greatest hero in history, the tale about his fall. He fought with honor, with his heart of legs, and he told the world they'll remember his name. When those in the ships bound for the Trojan shore, with Achilles in front, leading them to war. There was no warrior like him before, loved by the gods and his men forevermore.
Brothers of the sword and spear, we are lions, make them fear. You were awful old to hear. They will remember. Myrmidons beyond that shore. Cemetery, maybe more. Immortality is yours. They will remember your
God's
name.
invincible and strong. Even Hector could not beat Achilles one-on-one. So when his cousin led men into the fray, Hector thought that he had killed Achilles' only stay.
You will wander in the underworld, blind, deaf, and dumb, so the dead will all know. This is Hector, prince and full of Troy, who thought he'd kill me instead of a boy. Brother, you're no match for me. The prince of Troy is on his knees. You will fall for all to see. They will remember. You will rot upon the sand. No guide to pay the ferryman. Greatest fool of all the fame and glory will unfold. An epic saga to behold. They have remembered warrior of history, legend of mythology, echoes for eternity. They will remember my name.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm already a
That woman
big
has
fan
some
of
pipes.
Jessica.
That woman has pipes,
Ye-
huh?
Jessica's amazing.
Yeah.
Him is the first
Really.
time it's the first time I hear his voice, and when he gets that push, that grit there, ooh boy. Amazing.
really
he
good.
is,
It's really
he
good.
is fantastic, and I found him doing an audition for that part. Like that's how we ended up doing that. It was like this open call. I had like 20 something vocalist audition, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to audition, but my voice is not tenor like you have this song initially planned. So I'm going to do what I think I can do, and hopefully you like it." And it just
It fits, like you
was
said.
the best. It was the best take of everybody that did it, and it just works really well. I didn't plan it that way, but happy mistakes make things great sometimes.
Sometimes things happen just to align. Yes, that guitar solo is just out of this world. Out of this
Yeah.
world.
And that was a late addition too, where she had this picture of the Trojan horse, and there was this section where the stuff was filtering into each other too quickly, and it made for an odd transition. So I was like, use the horse, and she blew it up and put it in there, and yes, the imagery. I love the imagery.
It's the beautiful. The video's like really, really well made. I love it. It's just missing a dragon, but you know that's just me.
Well, I can't put a dragon in a story where there's no dragon.
Come on, Keith.
In this day and age, there's nothing you can do.
Just give me a little flashing dragon in the corner. Just you know.
Listen, with all the stuff that I've got planned, so I've got all the scratch and demos for the second album. It's done. So now I just need to get down here and start mapping out everything, and then figuring out who I want to sing everything. And I promise there's going to be a lot of fun stuff in this. So
I can't wait to hear it.
That's good stuff. I love it. It's all
I
good.
can't wait.
We've still got a few more this year. So from the initial album, we have the next one will be in September, which is Children of Time, which features Pete Rockcliffe, George again on guitars, and Stephanie Keogh, who did the vocals to War Cries, the previous single. Then we have Raise Your Fist, which is going to be coming out for my birthday, 2 days before my birthday, on November 8th. That one has got Jessica again, George on guitar, and a new singer that you guys have not heard yet, and her name is Susie Scarlett. So she'll be singing on that one as well. And then the final song will be the title track, Destiny Calling. That one will be coming out right after Christmas or right before Christmas. I can't remember the exact date. But that one's got a mixture of almost everybody singing on it, including me.
Very cool.
But also,
Very
dude.
cool.
It's all
So
sorted.
that's-
It's all there.
Plenty of stuff in the Kingdom of Nightfall to come.
Yep, there's lots of stuff.
Definitely.
Oh, next Friday, the orchestral version of Starfall will be coming out.
Oh, nice.
That's for the 1 year anniversary. And that song, that version of the song will also be featured in the video game Aspect Heroes.
Very cool.
It's all going. It's all going on.
A little bit of everything.
Awesome. Oh, hello. You have another member joining us.
He wanted to come say hi.
Hey.
Oh, did you guys see what we rescued?
Mm-mm.
No.
Hold on.
I think so.
I might have. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So he was stuck in an engine bay, and somebody struck at Manda's work. So she saved him and she brought him home. This is Sir Maxwell of House of Nyx.
And he's an orange kitty.
Yes.
Orange kitties are the craziest and the most fun.
They have the best energy. I love them. We weren't supposed to keep him, but we brought him to a lady, and the lady brought him back the same night. She was like, he tried to maul my chihuahua. She's like, I cannot keep it. And I was like, okay, we keep him.
Yeah, meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Amazing stuff.
So,
I think we're done.
Yes, we are. We're going to let you guys know when we're going to come back and with what movies. We got a lot to discuss, I guess.
There's a lot going. We got a lot to discuss. There's a lot going on for everyone at the moment. Check out our pages. Check out our socials. There's
check out everything. Follow the F.E.A.R podcast page, please, so we can do live streaming to it.
Yeah.
We're going to try to start pushing that one a little more. Try to get some people to follow it.
The links to the pages are on our pages, our individuals at the House of Horror, Nightfall, and so on. So please help us grow that page, and we can start streaming to it directly, which would be amazing. Cool, guys. It's been a pleasure as always.
Good night, guys.
Until next time.
We'll let you know.
Take us out, Mark.
Peace.